Do you want to know how to stop parenting from taking so long? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about ways that you can decrease the time your parenting takes. Parenting is hard work. Honestly, it is one of the hardest things that we ever do, but luckily, it's the most rewarding as well. But the thing about parenting is it just takes so much of our time. Some parents will say things like, I don't even get to shower some days because it's non-stop. Do you ever feel like that? I think, especially at certain phases of life when they're little and they need so much attention, or when there's so much sibling rivalry happening, or people that need so much correction, it seems like it's all-inclusive and never ends. But there are ways to make that parenting seem like it's not taking so long. So in this video, what we're going to talk about is why it seems like it's taking so long, and things that we can do, strategic things, to make it so that we aren't spending all of our best efforts and greatest amount of energy on all of those difficult situations. So could it be that the parenting is taking so long because you don't have the skills you need? I've found that for most people is the case. Many parents find themselves looking at a circumstance and thinking, okay, now what do I do with this? How do I find a creative solution that will make it so that it hits at them at just the right way so they won't want to do this again? Or how do I correct this so that they remember and not have this situation again? And so people have to invent the wheel every single time a child does a misbehavior. This is draining. This actually takes a ton of your energy to have to go to that type of a creative place every single time something happens with your child. What if it was more simple? What if you could streamline the process? What if you could help your child learn to diagnose and describe what was happening within themselves by simplifying the interactions, not getting caught up in all of the emotional responses, not getting caught up in all of the debates? What if there was a way to better understand each other, do it calmly, and then be able to spend your energy as a parent talking about the fun things, talking about building the clubhouse, talking about going to grandma's for a visit, talking about playing this game that's so fun? We should be spending the majority of our energy there if we can. But the reason why most people spend most of their energy on the misbehaviors is because they don't handle them right the first time, because they don't know how to handle the problems properly. Because quite frankly, many people just don't know what they don't know. When I first started parenting my oldest and I was a young mom, I remember feeling like, oh no, what do I do with this? Oh no, what do I do with this? And I felt like it was draining me. In fact, with my first two children, I remember calling my mom and saying, Mom, this is the hardest part, right? When you have two, this is the hardest, right? Interestingly enough, right after that point, I have two little toddlers, one age 1, one age 3, and then I decided to take on therapeutic treatment care children. So I brought in youth that were ages 12 to 18. Well, I'm so glad I did that, because when I went through the training for that therapeutic care, that high level of foster care, bringing in a lot of the children that were non-neurotypical, that had severe behaviors, the ones that had honesty issues a lot of the times that not a lot of people wanted to deal with, those children ended up teaching me what I didn't know. So the training that I got helped me understand that there were skills that I could use to talk about just about any behavior and do it in a way that was non-emotional. Why does it seem like parenting is so hard? Because we take it personally, because we fret and we worry. We don't recognize the normal learning pattern of children, and we don't give them the skills they need to get past some of these hurdles. Because my daughter was raised in my home, learning the skills of self-government, now as a young mom, she's got a child who's a toddler, just barely turned 20 months. This 20-month-old child has been learning how to take deep breaths to calm herself down since she was 3 months old. In fact, if you say to her, Clara, we need to have a calm face, voice, and body, she'll stop, take a big deep breath, and then look at you and say, Nini, because that's what she calls me, or she'll say, Mama. You'll see that. There's videos of it on this channel, so be sure to look that up. She can calm herself down. In fact, one time she was getting all upset about something. She had a big blowout. She didn't like it. And I said, oh, Clara, it's okay. Let's be calm. And there she is laying on the bathroom floor. It wasn't even her house. It was cold. We were changing her. And when she realized she was getting upset, she just, she took deep breaths. She knew it made her feel better. She was only 17 months at the time. 17 months old. That's what my daughter's been able to teach her child, because she learned about self-government. So her daughter now at 20 months old can accept no answers, follow basic instructions, disagree appropriately in basic ways, and she's learning how to accept her consequences. Sometimes she has to go to a calm down place, but she knows how to calm herself. It is amazing. So let's learn what it is that we don't know. But before we do that, is this interesting to you? Are you liking it? If so, click subscribe. In order to fix the problems of our own energy running out, we do have to change our mindset. So we have to decide that parenting is who we are. That's our identity. It's our opus. We love it. We wanted it, right? We wanted the children, which means we wanted the parenting. So we need to embrace it. Many times parents sabotage themselves by going, oh no, I don't want to deal with this. Oh no, this is going to take too much time. Oh no, they're not going to get to bed on time. Whatever it is, they start thinking the oh no thoughts inside, and then they start stressing, and then they start forcing, and then they start worrying, and then it becomes a power struggle, and suddenly the parent ended up engaging in a power struggle, leading it to the next level and wiping everybody's energy out. So don't engage in a power struggle. Change your mindset, describe more, react less. Now there are ways that I teach people to describe more. One of those ways is to have a cue phrase for yourself. As soon as you feel yourself feeling some sort of a worried feeling or a take it personal feeling, say, wait a minute, I just need to describe what's going on here. What's happening is this person thinks I don't understand them. This person has a need and I need to help them with that. Whatever it is, you start describing and say, and I'm okay with that. I can be calm. Be calm, Nicholeen. What skill do you have to handle this problem? And hopefully you have lots of skills. My TSG parenting course goes into great detail about training on skills. Skills that you can use to handle any circumstance. Now, I will admit, full disclosure, whenever you change your parenting, that means you have to put in some front end work. But anything you do that requires a lot of front-end work, it feels a little bumpy, it feels a little clunky, after a while, if it's truly principle-focused and it's really working the way that it should, things should feel a lot smoother after a while. So usually what happens is people will start implementing the self-government teaching skills and principles, and for a few days it feels really clunky, for a couple of weeks mildly clunky, and then once they get into a couple of months, it's feeling like, hey, this is doing pretty good. They look back after a couple of years and they think, who is that family from the past? We hardly even remember being like that because we've been so happy and united now. And this really is all due to learning how to communicate with each other, learning the skills that you need and teaching the children the skills that they need. Pre-teaching them the skills that they need ahead of time simplifies all the corrections. These books each teach the 4 basic skills to children. The 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. Those 4 basic skills take care of 99% of a person's behavioral problems. I mean, think about it. We all know adults that can't accept no answers and definitely don't disagree appropriately, right? These are adult skills that every person needs to know. And you can start teaching them to your children proactively and then also pre-teach them exactly how you will correct those skills. When a person does not accept a no answer, say, there's 4 steps to accepting a no answer. You look at the person or the situation, you keep a calm face, voice, and body, you say okay or disagree appropriately, and then you drop the subject. Let's say a person continues to whine after. Well, then they're definitely not dropping the subject and they would need to be corrected. But you prepare your child ahead of time for exactly how you will correct them. In fact, you learn exact words. You learn a script. Oftentimes, parents do not fix their parenting problems because they're stuck in an old script in their head. It's an old script that isn't working. They keep using the same words that are not working. So learn a new script. I have the scripts for you. They are in my TSG parenting course and in my book, Parenting a House United. I even have cue cards that will remind you of the scripts that you wanted to use and a choices map that will help you know when to use the certain scripts. The whole program at teachingselfgovernment.com is designed to make it easy for you to pull yourself out of that old habit that isn't working and give yourself new words to say. So you learn the skills that you need, teach your children the same skills, and everybody will have predictability in the parenting. This decreases anxiety, decreases your emotional load because you don't have to get emotional about anything anymore. You can just describe and go into your skills dialogue. That changes everything. Now I hear some parents saying, but yeah, Nicholeen, what about when they just really need to be understood? They need a shoulder to cry on. Well, hey, they're your child. Give them a hug. Let them cry on your shoulder. I mean, that's okay. But you don't have to take it personally, right? You can accept that they're having a moment that they need you. They can cry for a moment, but there comes a point where they need to be able to drop the subject and move on too, and you need to be able to help them with that. So you've got to have a strategy. You've got to have means to do that. If you want your children to understand their feelings and emotions better and to communicate better, they need the skills for how to do that. And that's what I teach at Teaching Self-Government. If you want to find out more about teaching self-government and how you can use some of these skills, then I highly recommend you watching my next class, which is a full-length class, and it is called The Not-So-Known Secret for Parenting Success. Click on the link to that class now. I'll see you there.